Hi there, it's Becky Roesler. I have Becky's journals on Instagram and on YouTube, and I'm going to show you what I've been up to. I have been absent on YouTube lately because to tell you the truth, I've just been playing in my journals, making ephemera tags and journaling cards and things like that, and I'm continuing to do that to restock. My last journal I made was the bingo card journal. If you haven't seen that, I've got 2 videos on the bingo card journal. One shows you how I put it together with the tab binding, and the other one is the final flip through with the finished journal, all decorated and everything. And I recently bought some wonderful Reader's Digest condensed books, and I'm going to show you some of those, and then I'm going to show you how I deconstruct this the book to save the cover and the spine if you want to. I end up replacing the spine on most of mine because I like a wider spine than what the Reader's Digest books tend to be, about 1.5 inches, and I prefer about 2.5 inches on my journals because I like to stuff them full of all kinds of, I usually do like 2 signatures with not that many pages in each signature. I'll go into that in a minute. But first I want to show you a little bit about what I bought. I bought these books because of the pattern on the covers, and so I'm going to use the patterns on the covers to, I'm going to save that portion of it. I'm not going to cover this up other than put a journal label because I think it's so beautiful. But anyway, this one is kind of a dark pink and green motif, and it's the one I'm working on right now. And what I thought was really odd, and I wanted to show you, is how these pages aged in this book. This book is copyright 1957, and guess what? It's a first edition, and I did cut it up. So so there, for those who think that Reader's Digest, there was a lot of them put out. And in fact, here locally, the thrift shops don't even, and the library book sale, they don't even put them out for sale. They throw them away, or they send them to be recycled. So, but look how dark some of the pages are, and then how light some of the pages are. And also notice there in these old ones, this one's from 1957, so they have illustrations in them that can be pulled out and used in your journal, which I find some of them are not really appropriate for me. Another thing I noticed when looking I was born in 1953, but I was reading some of these stories that are in these books, and for those of you who don't know, Reader's Digest condensed books are something that they started doing in the I guess in the 50s. They started doing condensed or shortened versions of books, and then there's, like in this one, there's 5 books that you can read in this book, and it's got gosh, well over 500 pages in it. It's a big book. It's 574 pages in this book, but it's got 5 books combined into one, or condensed down into one. But I'm going to show you how I deconstruct these books to save this spine, if you want to. And also I'll just run real quick over how I replace the spine, but I do have other videos how I replace the spines on books. I just thought you might like to see what some of these books look like, and if you come across them, I highly recommend it. They make a real good size for journaling, I think. They're approximately, let's see, I guess they could be wider at the spine on some of them than others, but typically they are 7.5 inches tall and about 1.5 inches wide on the spine. That's a little bit too narrow for me. So, but anyway, they're 7.5 inches tall as standard. So since I bought multiples of these, I got 6 of them from one lady, and I bought them because I loved this one so much. This is the one that I have replaced the spine, and this is the one that's still together. In fact, all of these are still together. This is something you commonly see, and this pattern on the fronts, I believe, is from the 60s. Actually, this was from 1979, so this was the late 70s. And there's less illustrations in it. The older you get, the less illustrations you'll get in it. And the more, well, see, hardly any illustrations in this one at all by 1979. But these books look like they have never been read. I mean, they are, they just don't fall open at any one place. There's an illustration. It looks like a photograph almost, or a painting. But not much in the very beginning page of the book. But look for these, in your area. You might find them at estate sales. I had to pay about $5 a piece US here in the United States for these because I wanted these specific patterns. But if you're not particular about the patterns, there's all kinds. And it's like, this is from 1957. This is another 50s one. And lots of illustrations. Small illustrations, large illustrations. So I like to take the illustrations and use it for ephemera in the journal itself. I think that's kind of cool. So you're keeping part of the original book. This is a real common pattern. 1979. It was a Christmas gift. What is this? Oh, it's a handwritten note. Wow. Somebody was doing some research on this story. That's a fun illustration. That'll sure go in my book. And I'll keep the book block, when I take the book block out, I'll keep it with the cover when I remake the cover, so I can use, sheets from the actual book itself. So it'll still slightly stay together. Here's some more 1970s books. So this is the one I'm going to show you now. This is the one that I remade from this. And I widened the spine to 2.5 inches or 2.25 inches, I think I ended up. I covered the spine with fabric on the outside, and then I just wrapped the fabric around to the inside. And then that helps reinforce it. And then I glued cardstock over the inside, front, and back pages. I also punched holes in the back right there, side by side, and that is where my ribbon will go through to come around and wrap around and tie in a bow. That's my favorite way to make a closure for this type of book, this size of book. But you could do a side closure with a stretchy ribbon or however you wanted it on your closure, or you could make a a lift off, you know, one that you can totally remove. I'm not going to put tassels on these, so I'm not going to punch a hole up here to attach a tassel. I'm just going to keep it like it is, but that's how it turned out. I have videos on reinforcing the spine, making a new spine, and then laying layers of fabric and Tyvek paper fabric on to reinforce if you'd like to see that. You can look in my playlist that has Becky's art tips and I don't even remember what it's called, but it's something along Becky's art tips or Becky's journaling tips, something along that line. But this is the one that I'm going to start working on. This one I'm making for myself because I just love this dragonfly cover on it. I made some mistakes when because it's been about a year since I made an altered book, but this is what an altered book is taking part or all of the book and altering it, taking parts of it out, reimagining the spine. Some people leave the book block in and then tear out. Another way to do an altered book is like you take 3 pages or two to 4 pages, leave those in, then tear out 8 or 10, then leave 3 to 4 pages and tear out 8 or 10. And then what you do is the pages that you left in there, you glue them together over the rough edge where it was tore out. Say if you tore out this page, it would leave a jagged edge. And so you would take the page behind it and the page behind it and glue them together to cover up that jagged edge. It also makes the pages sturdier if you want to do mixed media on it. But there's lots of videos on making altered books, and you can do a search and find lots of videos on that if you're interested. This one, you can do this method with any kind of hardback book that you buy, but this is these Reader's Digest books I buy particularly for the beautiful old-fashioned covers. So this is what I do. When you get the book and you open it up, you'll note that there's a space between the actual spine and the book block. Like that, there's a space right there. And then you have the book block is actually glued in between these cover pages that are at the very beginning of the book right here. And what you do is you take an X-Acto knife, is what I use. You can use anything that you want to use to cut, but I have made a lot of mistakes and cut the spine fabric. And if you cut the spine fabric, you can't save the spine. There's just no way to repair it where it'll hold together right. But you take the very tip of the X-Acto knife or utility knife or whatever you're using. I use an X-Acto knife, and by the way, I've had this same X-Acto knife since I was a teenager, and I'm 70 years old now. So however much you have to pay for one of these metal X-Acto knives, it's worth it because they last forever. This one is I can't read the label of who made it, but if you pull that out, there's a space between that here and that there, and you just run the very tip right down. And I usually, once I get it started, I just use the very tip to sort of score it. if you go all the way in there, it'll cut everything, and still you're going to cut it anyway. See how that came out? And it saved the spine. Now this spine is not particularly good looking. So I'll replace this spine when I get around to doing this book. I will replace it with a wider spine and totally redo the whole book. Then all you do on this side is just the same thing. You just, the tip, get it started on the tip, and then run it down like that. And then keep going over it just a little bit. Until it separates. And this one is really glued in there good. Huh. Alright, we're going to get in there and do it. Alright, save the spine on that one. Then you got your book block. Smelly old thing. When that paper gets old, it really messes with my allergies. So I don't. I used to go to all the trouble of tearing out pages, you know, and leaving some to glue together, and tearing out more pages, leaving some. I used to do that to alter a book, but to tell you the truth, that old paper, it's just got book mites and I don't know what all, but it messes my sinuses, and I'm going to be sneezing here and needing to blow my nose at any minute. But it's not scary. Now this spine is very flexible, and I could leave it if I wanted to leave a 1.5 inch spine. All I would do to reinforce it is take 2 pieces of cardboard. These are from a cereal box, and glue them together, and then glue those down, leaving about 1/8 inch of space so the book can open up. These aren't the right size, obviously, but that's how you would reinforce. You would take some scissors or your X-Acto knife to trim up this edge right here. Just trim off that edge, and then do the same thing on this side. And then you would put your glued together cardboard down like that, leaving about 1/8 inch of space so the book can open and close. And then that will be enough of the individual spine reinforcement. But then I go a little step further, since I want to make my books where they will not tear apart with a lot of, you know, mixed media and whatever I want to do in it. So I use tie-back over this inside. Tie-back is like a fabric paper. I mean, you cannot tear it, and it's hard to cut it with my scissors. I have to use my fabric scissors to cut this stuff. But anyway, I would cut myself down, and this is from a Priority Mail envelope. I cut it down, and then I would glue it down to the inside, and I would cut it down smaller than that. I glue it about 1 inch over on each side, and then glue that down on top of it, and with fabric tack or fabric glue of some type, but I use fabric tack because it dries faster. And then after I do that, I take fabric. You could use paper, but I think fabric is more flexible and it's easier. I take fabric and I do the fabric down there, and then I take cardstock that matches the cover and whatever I want the first page to look like, and I cover it there. But I do have videos on how I repurpose and reinforce spines if you're interested. Okie doke. This is the one I'm working on after. I'm going to make next after this one. And the reason I'm doing this one is because the color scheme is, I like it so much. And the color scheme is the same. So this one is going to be pink and green. And I don't know whether you can see it, but it's a real pale peachy kind of pink on the cover. And it's a real dark green fabric. It's almost black. It's so dark. And I used the same, I chose the same fabric for this one. So I have already started making the pages. This is kind of an odd size. You have to custom make each of the page. You can't just fold 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper in half and slap it in here. You have to cut them down to size. So this is how I've started on this one. The spine is really pretty. I like the way it looks. I haven't decided whether I'm going to try to keep the spine on this one yet or not. If I do, I'll use this fabric on the inside only. If I have to rebuild the spine, I will wrap the fabric all the way around the new spine. And it'll be like this one when I finish it. All right. Well, I appreciate you hanging in with me a little bit today. I'll be posting every single day on my Instagram and on my Facebook page, Rebecca Roesler, Roesler. I post daily photos of what I'm working on. If you'd like to see the stuff that I do every day, please follow me those places. I do have YouTube videos, and I'm down to about once a month now when I make YouTube videos. But please like this video if you enjoyed it, and and follow me if you would. It really helps with my following on the YouTube. I appreciate it, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.